Hey Pisces, and welcome to your August 2017 General Tarot Forecast. This is Sky here to give you guys hopefully a really good reading for your month ahead. Wow, so a lot of energy for you guys. It is crazy for us water signs during this time, during this particular energetic paradigm, because there is a huge fire trine happening. Sun in Leo, Saturn in Sag, and Uranus in Aries, and that is a lot for water signs to navigate because water and fire traditionally are not the most cohesive, harmonious elements. Both of those elements can destroy the other one. Water can put out fire, and then fire can also obviously evaporate water. And it usually comes down to whichever one there's more of. If there's more water, it'll put out the fire. If there's more fire, it will evaporate the water. And in this case, we definitely have more fire. So water signs can tend to feel very evaporated right now, very just non-existent and burned out feeling. Is normal for water signs. And you guys, I feel like, might be struggling with it the most, potentially, because you guys have this Ten of Wands energy, you have Six of Pentacles energy, and just a general overwhelming feeling to me intuitively and from this reading that it's like, how can I go on like this? How can I continue? I have these options, I have these opportunities, but none of them quite make me feel the way that I want to feel. Well, I want to help us Pisces people understand how we can get some inspiration, how we can springboard off of this fire energy, because everyone collectively has that opportunity during this time to really change their circumstances, to really leave behind past problems that they've not wanted to deal with but have struggled to detach from. Fire is a form of detachment. It's definitely, along with water, and that's what it shares in common with water, is fire and water both are purging elements, and they can create and destroy. So you have a lot of opportunities to create a new reality for yourself and destroy the one that you don't like, but that's a lot to take on. And Pisces is so fluid, and it likes to flow into the new reality and out of the old one. And unfortunately, under this energetic paradigm, it's sort of a very stark, sudden polarized energy. You cut it off and you're into the new one, and you don't look back. It's not so good to look back during this time. It's not the best time for shadow work. And I feel, depending on you, it's not the best time for like tarot or astrology, but you know, if you're at a certain place, it's fine. But it's really good to have like outward exterior experiences right now, and then come back once all this is over and be able to sum it all up and understand what you were supposed to learn. So by all means, jump to another part of YouTube if it's not feeling right for you. But also, I super enjoy your company, and obviously do not want to detract from my channel. At the same time, I'll be honest and upfront with you, not the greatest, most amazing time for tarot and astrology, but we can obviously still learn a lot and help our situation. So other intuitive messages coming forward for you, Pisces: you have more strength than you realize, you have more resources than you realize. There's something in Pisces that wants to feel unresourceful at a shadow level, or wants to prove to itself that it can manifest resources when maybe you already have done that and it's not so necessary right now. There is something in Pisces that's feeling like, despite you can't have options despite your options. It's like, you know that you have options, but you feel discouraged by them because they're not the ones that you want. And it feels like, why would the universe give me all these options? And the only thing that I want is not one of them. That's something that you're dealing with. And you're also kind of out of time and space right now. As I'm recording this, Saturn is still stationary in Sag, and you guys are a mutable sign too, so you're going to feel that pretty hard. Time is like non-existent. Like you're suddenly in the future, you're suddenly in the past, you're suddenly like all over the place. You'll wake up and feel like 20 minutes ago was 3 months ago. And then you'll move forward and feel like 20 minutes past like 2 years. So it's really hard to judge time right now. And again, that's because Saturn is retrograde and doing its retrograde and stationary thing. So whenever Saturn does that, time becomes an issue. And that will become a non-issue. It'll start August 24th to go direct again. But certainly by like September and October, time will come back to be more what it needs to be for you. There is a need for Pisces to like employ discretion during this time. Like, what are you putting into your life? What are you expecting out of life? You guys have to really take that Queen of Swords energy and, in a nurturing way, cut off bonds that no longer work for you. You have to really understand how to be articulate during this time, and how to communicate to people why you just can't be there. It's not such a good time to ghost on people, and it's not such a good time to just fly off the radar, although that can definitely happen under this fire energy. It is best to, it is best to be upfront with people. It's best if you're going to like unfriend somebody, or you're going to give somebody a difficult situation, it's best to tell them why versus just doing it, because you can really set up a lot of clutter for the future if you are being like in and out of people's lives, and people could be doing that to you too. And I really feel that strongly. It's like maybe you got unfriended by somebody, or maybe you got, or someone, I'm not feeling so many breakups, although for some of you that will be the case, but it's like sort of the minority who are going through breakups or ends to relationships. But I see a lot of like very surface level things that hurt a lot, like being unfriended on Facebook, or being unfollowed, or somebody not showing up to the event that you're hosting, and it's like you knew that they would show up. If anyone was going to show up, they would show up. And it's like these small things that you can't really put your finger on without seeming like that person, but at the same time they really hurt you. I'm trying to understand what that's about for you guys. I feel like it has to do with how you've expressed yourself in the past, how you've worn your heart on your sleeve, and past that, it has to do with what type of people you attracted in when you were doing that. So maybe you were a lot more vulnerable in the past, but it wasn't really the best look on you, because maybe your sense of vulnerability then wasn't actually that. So you pulled in these people who were like really shifty, or really manipulative, or coercive, or uncaring in the long run. So I feel like you're dealing with that. You're dealing with people whose expectations and intentions were not what you expected them to be. And I have been dealing with this as well, Pisces, so I am happy to hold space for you and create an area where you can feel free to talk that out. If any Pisces want to comment down below, like what you needed to tell somebody that you just feel like you can't, go for it. Or if anybody has an idea of why this happens, off of what I've just said, or further ahead of what I've just, like, why are people being so shifty? Why are people being so uncaring? Because you guys understand the bigger picture of things. Like when somebody unfriends you, people talk about how sensitive Pisces is and how like oversensitive and hypersensitive Pisces is, but it's because you get the bigger picture. If someone that you've been really close with does something as small as like unfollow you or unfriend you, or like not show up to something that you thought that they really would, it really speaks for how they feel about you, and it really speaks for how much you could have ever mattered in the first place. And what that does is it makes you realize that it was fake, or it makes you realize that it was all false to begin with. And this is like a huge thing for Pisces when they realize that something was false when they thought it was true, because your abilities of discretion are very important to you. So it's not so much a matter of hypersensitivity. It's a matter of being able to see the big picture. And sometimes where you guys get a lot of flack is that sometimes your big picture can be a little bit delusional. Not all of you, and I get it. I have one of my best friends is a Pisces, and I've known many of them, and sometimes you guys can get like that anxiety or that fear that, oh my god, this means that, and you all of a sudden you've got this huge big picture about like how everybody was plotting against you, or how everybody was like out to get you. And sometimes you're right is the thing, and you don't get credit for when you're right. But if you're ever wrong about it, then people are always like, oh, that's just them being crazy again. So you're dealing with that this month. You're dealing with that kind of thing. And there can be some really good moments in this month, though. It really seems like through some of this painful energy that you really see who your true friends are. It feels to me that you're going to hear from people from your past that you've wanted to hear from, like maybe a really good friend that you just haven't had time to catch up with comes back in, and you really get reminded of who cares about you and who has your back in this month. And I hear that for some of you, you don't think that that's possible, or you don't know who that could be, but you'll be surprised. There really is something that comes in to mute this pain a little bit. So anyway, I want to go ahead and get into this from the week to week and see what more specifically is coming forward for you guys. So in the first week, we have 6 of Pentacles rooted down by 6 of Cups. So 2 6 cards. So that's transition. The 6s in tarots are movement, are changing territory. Some of you could be thinking about moving in the first week. Some of you could be thinking about changing location. And that's very supported during this time. You could honestly like move across the world, or move to a different country, move to a foreign country. I see for you guys with those wands cards too. Some of you may be thinking about that, and that's supported. But more specifically, in the first week, you're like what are my relationships? Because Six of Pentacles and Six of Cups are both like so polar opposite. Six of Cups is very healthy. It feels very nostalgic. It feels beautiful. It feels sweet, and it feels like reminiscent of childhood. And it very much honors your core values in a relationship. And then Six of Pentacles is very much the whole idea of codependence and issues of what's the word? Issues of compromise and give and take. So it's like I feel that a lot of you who are coupled are in relationships where it's like one day it's that Six of Pentacles and the next day it's that Six of Cups, and you don't know how to balance it, because Pisces does not like to make decisions. Pisces does not like to be in the driver's seat sometimes, unless you're one of those like not so rare breeds of Pisces with Aries who's like always in the driver's seat. But most of the Pisces that I've known like can stay in relationships a lot longer than they needed to, because they just didn't want to have a huge change where they couldn't be fluid, where they couldn't, swim in and out of a situation. So I feel like the first week is where you're understanding why that is, and where you're understanding how that is too. Like, why did you specifically end up in that situation, and what were you doing at the time that made this person come into your life? For the single Pisces, I think that it's really important to make sure that we're not being desperate, and to make sure that through this very kind of excruciating energy that you might be experiencing during this time, that you're not like desperately trying to find love, because you can very much start things that are a lot more than you expect them to be during this time. And then just aside from relationships, it's a good time to connect with people who you don't really have much to lose with, because really the only time that either of those energies come to be an issue is when you have something to lose, or you can't fathom losing somebody and then they set you up for a difficult situation. But if you can kind of be more or I should say less caring about who's in your life and when they are, and just sort of appreciate experiences for what they are, I feel like you'll be happy. In the second week, you guys have Queen of Swords rooted down by Two of Wands reversed. This to me feels like where you do some of the cutting, or where you start to cut off bonds around you. It'll be really good to focus that outward. Like, what in your life is no longer having purpose? What in your life is no longer serving? Because I don't want this energy to come back at you where you're being like cutting towards yourself, or where you're holding yourself too accountable for things that you can't really hold yourself accountable for. That being rooted down by Two of Wands reversed, I feel like this has all to do with opportunities. And again, this is another energy for me that thinks that you guys are doing foreign travel, but that you're not quite satisfied with it, or you feel like you're not quite ready. Sometimes Pisces can be a homebody, but you're less of a homebody than like Cancer and Scorpio. So it would be nice to see you guys being that person who just like winds up in another country for a few days, and then you're back to the airport and you're in another place. Because what is very true for you guys is you're very magical and very fantastical. It's like people seeing you right now and just being out in public for you guys, or in a new location. Like, what you give people right now is very powerful. Even if they don't talk to you, even if you don't even know that you're being seen, it's like people are like awing at you, or they're like, wow, who's that? And it like lifts their vibration and puts them into a new place. So that's really good karma for you right now, and that's a really good thing to be doing. So it would be best to not be like under the covers, or to not be hiding or fearful, or caught in that same existential crisis that you've been in over and over and over again, convincing yourself that you just can't do it. That's what leads to like a difficult circumstance of this month. So just be out there, be spontaneous. You'll be okay. All right, so for the third week, you guys have Ten of Wands rooted down by Page of Cups reversed. There's a lot of hard work here. I think that a lot of you guys might be involved in some kind of project. For your career, I feel like this is where you have to do most of the work, but it does seem like you get very well reimbursed for it. You guys might be feeling like there's too much on your plate. You might be feeling like you can't take all of this energy, or you can't take all of what's expected to you. And you just really have to hold a good emotional core in yourself. The Page of Cups reversed rooted down tells me that you're not like being honest with yourself, or you're not taking time to rejuvenate and recharge. So it would be really nice to see you guys creating some kind of space. And I said just a second ago, like, to not be under the covers, but make sure that you have a good time to recharge. Like, I'm not saying don't sleep and don't rest, but you just can't make that like your goal this month, right? But it will be good to maybe change up your space, like move furniture around, or make your area more nice to be in. That way, when you're there, like, you recharge that much better and you're not having a cluttered energy around you. I do feel like the third week could be good for renovation or for changing something, like small, like in a sort of a small way. But I feel like some of you guys could be involved in like really big renovations of your home, in which case that's really good too. But just think about what you're biting off in the third week. Fourth week, you guys have the Magician rooted down by the Emperor. This is by far like the most eventful week for you, I feel. This is where your major arcana comes in. And you guys have so much more power than you realize. Something happens through August where you are suddenly granted a lot of wherewithal and a lot of power to change your circumstances, and direct, assertive energy. Now, I don't want to scare you guys because I know that Pisces doesn't really like those kinds of words and that kind of vocabulary, such as direct, assertive, powerful. Yeah. So, and you're very like masculine. Even if you're a woman during this time, you're more masculine and you're more direct with what you want. I feel like a lot of you could get the promotion this week. You could be above a lot of people and you could sort of be that person in power. Also, people could see you that way or experience you that way. It's funny to see like how all this fire energy comes in and makes you portray yourself in a new way. I sense you guys as sort of this like actor type of mentality. So it's like people might experience you as an Aries or a Scorpio or a Leo or a Sag or something. So that's pretty exciting to see for you guys. And just play it up. Like, enjoy it while it lasts, because it's rare when Pisces get into this place where they can sort of have all these different personas. And I feel like I would have fun with that. So you guys should have fun with that too. You have to remind yourself that you can do it this week. You have to remind yourself that this week is a week that you can get what you want. The Magician being upright and the Emperor being upright, it's like you have the tools and you have the ability to structure and organize. And what more can you ask for? For those of you on doing business ventures, for those of you trying to like get logistics in order or trying to litigate something, this is a really good energy. This is a very powerful energy, and also an energy in which you can get a lot of grunt work done. Like, if you've been needing to tie up loose ends or anything like that, you can do things in a very short period of time that would take most people really long. So it would be nice to focus on something inanimate right now, because relationships really aren't where it's at for you guys this month. Your overall theme being Two of Pentacles says to me that you're in flux. You know, you're trying to balance that. You're like, well, I realize that there are a lot of good things, but I can't just be airheaded and only acknowledge that and not acknowledge the bad. But you actually can, Pisces. You can actually be a little bit airheaded this month and be okay. It's the fire trine. Everyone's going to be spontaneous. People are going to not be doing what they expected. People are going to be all of a sudden quitting their jobs and like traveling to the Appalachian Mountains and going on a retreat or climbing Mount Everest. People are going to be doing really unexpected things. And if you want to sort of not be that way, that's fine. But also, it's a time where that can give you something really profound. So it's food for thought. And at the end of the day, I'm kind of looking forward to seeing you guys shine in this way, because it's been a long time coming. And I think that it's overwhelming for you, yes. I think that it's draining for you, yes. You might even feel a little bit burned out. But at the same time, it's kind of a different energy for you, and it's kind of a break from the norm. So if you can just learn to really be excited about that and really come into a place where that's not that big of a deal, then it can be a great month for you. Anyway, I've so enjoyed delivering this reading for you guys. If you would like to book a private reading with me, you can click to the left on the red and green link. Also, if you haven't seen July's reading, I've put it in the middle here, so you can be sure to go back and check that out. And I so appreciate your likes, subscribes, and comments. I will be looking forward to reading for you guys in September. Much love. Bye.